All right, we're on Keilim Perek Tet, Mishnah Aleph. First Mishnah in the 9th chapter of Masechet Keilim. So we're going to talk about what happens if you have a metal kli that's found in part of an oven, part of a tanur. Okay, and we learned halacha about a tzamid patil. We're going to see this word tzamid patil. Remember, if it was totally closed. If I do a search for it, tzamid patil. Remember, we learned that if it's totally closed, if the kli is covered, the kli cheres, it has to be kli cheres and it's totally closed, sealed tight like a Tupperware, then the kli cheres does not become tameh. But the tzamid patil only works for the kli itself, for cheres. It does not work for other types of kelim. It doesn't work for metal, as we'll soon see. Okay, machat o tabat. If you have a needle or a tabat, kind of ring. Okay, and here we're talking about their tameh. Shenimseu b'nechushto shel tanur. The nechushto shel tanur, they're found in the ritzpat hakarka shel tanur mechubar ba. Meaning you found this tameh item, this tameh vessel, kli. A kli means a vessel, but it can mean any kind of utensil. You found it, let's look at the proposing. You found it here in the floor of the oven. So it was under where the oven was. Okay? Nechushto shel tanur, in the area, I don't know why it's called nechushto, but that's what it's called. It's found in the nechushto shel tanur. Okay? Nir'in, aval lo yotzim. So it's visible, it's in some kind of like protrusion, but they don't protrude, does not protrude. Let's go back pose it again, right? Nir'in, okay? But aval lo yotzim, it does not protrude. It's right there. So you see where it is. Says the So the question is, this is tameh. Does it make the oven itself tameh or not? If when you bake the bread, okay, it touches these things, then it's tameh. What kind of dough are we talking about? But batzeka benoni. Benoni means medium. We're talking about medium viscosity, meaning if it's not like pancake batter. If it's pancake batter, it doesn't count because then it would sink in no matter what. So it depends. If you put normal dough, not hard dough, I guess, but normal dough in the oven, and it doesn't sink down, and it doesn't touch the machat or tabat, this needle or ring, then the needle and ring are not considered like they're inside. This tameh needle or ring are not considered like they're inside the oven, and therefore the oven is tahor. But if it does touch, if the normal dough would touch them, then the oven is tameh. Nimsu, now you found them not in the bottom of the oven, but nimsu b'tfeilat tanur. Okay, now we're changing the case. You're now is a really interesting case. Okay, nimsu b'tfeilat tanur mukaf tzamid patil. So now, the oven is in a tzamid patil. So again, like your oven, imagine it's like in this huge. You put the oven inside of it, you close it. I don't know why you would do this, but we're trying to illustrate an idea. Okay. So now you took your oven, you sealed it up in this big jug, and you brought it into a house where there's tumat mate. So we learned if tzamid patil saves kli cheres, so the oven should be fine. But inside the oven you found a metal kli. Now remember we learned that tzamid patil again only works for kli cheres, for earthenware. It doesn't work for metal. So maybe the fact that it's in the tfeilat tanur. The tfeilat tanur, remember, is the insulation, the mud, the tfeilat here, of the oven. And it's inside a tzamid patil, and it's in an oel hameh. Okay, so you found, this is closed. So in theory, the oven should be fine, but what about the metal thing? So says the Mishnah, im betameh tmein, v'im betahor teorim. Meaning, if the tzamid patil is no good, this is where the Bartenura explains it. If the tzamid patil is not sealed in such a way that it prevents the tumah from going in, then tmein. Then also your machat and tabat, which were tahor, become tameh. Now we're talking about tahor metal object in the side of this oven's insulation that's in a tzamid patil, that's in a house that's in a house that's tameh. Okay, so if the tzamid patil is no good and the oven becomes tameh, then the metal becomes tameh as well. But if the tzamid patil, if this big jug that the oven is in is sealed properly and it stays tahor, the oven stays tahor, then tahorim, then the machat and tabat, then the metal kli, then the ring or the needle also stays tahorim. Why is that? They're tahorim since the oven is surrounded by tzamid patil, v'nitzol, and it's saved. Gam heim nitzolimo. They're also saved. Debetele legabe tfeila. This is the ikar. This is the halacha that we're trying to learn. The Mishnah is trying to tell you that the metal that's stuck inside that insulation here, it's batel to the tefillah itself. So if the oven's good, it's good. If the oven's not good, it has the status of the oven in this particular case. The Mishnah continues. Again, you found it in the megufa, in the stopper of the chavit. Mitzideh, and again, the Bartanura says we're talking about in this case where it's megufa chavit. It's a regular chavit that's tzamid patil in a house that's tameh. So if you found it in the megufa, in the stopper of the chavit, mitzideh. I guess when they made clay, all this shmutz got in. So let's go back and see what I posed in, right? So you have this regular thing, right? The tzamid patil will save the jug. The jug's fine. The question is, what about the ring? Is that considered in an ohel hamet, in a tameh place, and it's tameh or not? So says the Mishnah, mitzideh. If it's on the side, meaning if you found the ring on the side, then tameim. Then those things, machan and tabat are tameh. Mikeneged piyatorim. But if it's above the mouth of the jug, then it's tahor, right? Keneged piyah. If it's here, it's tameh. If it's here, it's tahor. I'm sorry. Well, I don't know. Maybe tzideh. There's different opinions of tzideh. Keneged the mouth. Here, it's tahor. Why is it tahor keneged the mouth? Says the Bartanura. Why? He doesn't say why. He just says as long as it doesn't go into the avir of the chavit, the air of the chavit. Okay, you can see it, but as long as it's not in the air of the avir. Okay, why? Because the Kahati explains the reason is because it's considered part of the necessary part of this megufa, and therefore it's considered batel, negated. It's considered part of the jug itself. Okay, but on the side, mitzideh, if it's on the side, let's look at it again on the side here. That's not considered essential for the tzamid patil, and therefore it's extra. It's not considered part of the jug. Therefore, it's tameh. Ni'in bitocha avalo la'avira. Let's say you can see it from the inside, but it's not in the airspace. Tehorin, it's tahor. Shokin bitocha. Let's say it's inside the airspace. You can say like if I have a jug, the tzamid patil goes in, and it's in the airspace of the jug. But betachtehem klipat hashum, and under it is a small layer, a thin layer of earthenware, of clay, even like the thickness of a garlic peel, tiny amount, meaning it's not exposed. It's in the jug, but it's not exposed to horin. But if it is exposed, the Bakati says you're out of luck. If the ring is exposed, if you can see the ring, see even here, you see. It's concealed. It's got a layer. You're good. But if it is exposed, then it's considered in the jug. And remember, we learned that the tzamid patil only saves klicheres. It doesn't save klei matechet, metal. So therefore, if you have a jug that's sealed, right, totally fine. The jug is fine, but it's got metal in it. The metal is tameh. So the question is for our Mishnah: is this metal part of the jug, or is it separate from the jug? Very important for the jugs that you keep in your tameh house. We'll stop here, dedicate our learning to memory of my father, Arav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Make it a great day.